Hello and welcome to the second edition of 8. My name is Sanjay Chakrabarti. I'm the founder of Tag8. Food is something that has a universal appeal. It's not about what food you eat, but it's the experience that comes around with it. It's the tradition, it's the recipe, it's in a way a part of culture. Unfortunately, when we talk of food, and especially in the snacks category, invariably anything that tastes good falls under the junk food category, something that's not good for your health. Today's guest is someone who has not only come in and changed this perception that you could have snacks which is not only tasty but actually helps your health, whether it's immunity or various other factors. For his efforts, he's been recognized with a national award. His products have now gone beyond, if I may say, 10 million customers, what he calls it. I would say 10 million mouths, or even more actually. I am delighted to welcome on the show my good friend and owner of Sattviko, Prasoon Gupta. Welcome.
Thanks, Sanjay. Thank you so much.
So, Prasoon, you know what you need to go through, the pains that you need to go through when you get into the show. So let me start with the very first one, which is tell us about who is Prasoon Gupta, the man, and again in one breath.
So for me, Prasoon is as an entrepreneur and a yogi. I define myself living two lives, one of an entrepreneur and second of a yogi.
Okay, that was really quick. I thought someone like you would have said many more. I think the yogi word, especially given the wide, yeah, that with the with yogis, getting significant valuation these days. If you know what I mean,
Right,
especially
right.
given the Whitehead Junior, I think having a yogi next to you is a good thing to have. No doubt about that. No,
So
I
I think
mean.
that's all about me. I think I don't have much to say about myself because that's how I see myself. I live in two people. One is the yogi part of me and second is the entrepreneur part of me.
Super, super. Now tell us about Sattviko, and I'm sure that will be more than two words, and therefore, I would highly recommend taking a really deep breath before you get into that segment.
So India as a country is one of the oldest countries in the world. I would say it is the oldest country in the world. And with that entire age, what we have been given with that entire 10,000 plus years of existence is the tradition around health and food. So Indian families always used to live for hundreds of years. I mean, if we go into Vedas and if we read more about the values of the Indian family, and a lot of that was to do about with the food. Even if you go today in the various pockets of the country, you would find these local foods which somehow have been missing from the modern consumer's lifestyle, in a modern Indian consumer's lifestyle. So as a company, we are basically reinventing the superfoods of India. We are rediscovering them from different parts of India and converting them into modern food categories. Any food category that you would find in a modern supermarket, we are building all those categories, including snacking, beverage, dips, cookies, anything that you would find in a modern supermarket. We are creating those products with the help of superfoods of India. And all these products have some inherent benefits, like all of them are vegan, all of them are gluten free, all of them are high in fiber, all of them are high in antioxidant. A lot of them are high in calcium, high in protein. So I think these inherent benefits come naturally with the superfoods that we are using in our products to create those products.
Super. I should have guessed when you took very little time in the first segment that you're going to steal a lot more time and many more breaths when it comes to second segment. But I give it to you. Given the concept is so interesting, it really deserves more than one breath. So Prasoon, I mean, before I ask my third question, really about what has been your biggest learning and you've been a serial entrepreneur, this is your second venture. Before I ask that, something that really is also related to that. I have never seen you not smiling. You have this infectious smile that is always around it, which actually makes me believe that is that question that I have for you, is that really a question that is justified? I mean, have you ever faced a problem? Because you always seem to come across as someone who has just everything going right for him, purely based on the way your demeanor when you kind of come across.
So Sanjay, I think a lot of it probably I would say is because of the people I interact with. So I remember I met you last year in Mumbai at your home, and I think it was a very difficult time I was going through. But after that 1 hour meeting, all I could do was I left smiling from there. So I think that smile is infectious, not from me, but I think I get that smile mostly from the people around me. I think I get motivated because of the people, so many great people that I have around me. So I think it's because of them, not because of me.
I think you're modest, but I'll kind of give it to you. So then let me get to that point. What has been your biggest learning in terms of your business? What is that one thing that you would like to share with people?
So I think people, I would say both internal, which is your team, and I think people around you. I've read this statement somewhere that every great warrior had a great mentor. I'm not saying just a great mentor. If you look at Mahabharat, I think the entire concept of the Pandavas winning over Kauravas because of Arjun. And if Arjun did not have Krishna, I think Mahabharat was lost from the day one. Pandavas would never have thought to win that entire war. And I think it was because of a great mentor. You would actually see those mentors in all our mythology. Most of the startup ecosystem in the world, they actually boast of awesome mentors. Even Steve Jobs had mentor, Bill Gates had mentor. So I think externally entrepreneurs, so generally entrepreneurs are extremely lonely, and all they actually can care about is people around them, the people who work with them, which is their team. And I think the people who are not their team but who know them very personally. So I'm having this conversation just because I'm a friend of Sanjay, and I think that matters to me a lot. So I think people is the biggest learning, having a great team within the company and having great set of people outside the company. So my biggest learning is that.
Great. So related question, how do you create that set of people really? It's a, in terms of actionable steps, if at all, if it's possible from a objective standpoints, how do you create a good team? How do you get these mentors? How do you get these, I know you run outstanding network of entrepreneurs, and really that's a leap that we've taken out of your book, and we run that in Bombay as well. But Friends of Sattviko is considered to be like really the place to be in if you are an entrepreneur. So what is it? Because I'm sure it takes a lot of time and effort to build good people around you. How do you do that? How have you done that specifically, if you could be more objective around each of those steps?
So I think two things are probably very important. First is I think selflessly helping people, and I don't think it cost anything. I mean, I've not invested money into helping people. I mean, if somebody comes to me and says that मुझे connect कर दो, क्या आप इसको जानते हो? Can you actually go a step ahead and introduce me to, let's say, this VC that you may not know so well, but you still have that person in your contact book. And I think most of the people are reluctant, thinking कि अगर मैंने connect कर दिया तो क्या होगा, मेरा contact चला जाएगा, वो धंधा कर लेगा, या फिर कुछ गलत हो जाएगा इनके बीच में तो मैं फंस जाऊंगा. I think all of these things I never think about. मेरा simple सा एक objective होता है that if somebody comes to me asking for anything, or if I meet somebody who needs, I'm not saying help, but even if they are looking for something which I can basically help them with, I basically propose them कि I can do it for you. I think that help comes back to you. So that's the first thing. And I think second, I always think that people are too stressed with their time. I don't think that. So I remember like when I just became an entrepreneur 11 years back. One of my college mates, uska brother was a senior entrepreneur, and I wanted to basically meet him and understand a few things from him. So I wrote to this guy, "Can you introduce me to your brother?" उस बंदे ने मुझे रिप्लाई किया, मेरा भाई बहुत बिजी है तो तू मुझे एजेंडा बता दे, and if he's okay, I can put you through. और मैंने उस दिन डिसाइड किया था कि anybody in the world, if he wants to catch up with me, a simple email should do it. I'm not that busy. I may be able to meet, let's say, 2 days later, or I can meet him now, but I should meet him. So I think that willingness to basically meet people, not because you have an agenda, it's just because you want to see, I mean, what do they want to discuss with you or ask you. In that entire thing, a lot of these things come to you, and I think a lot of these people become good friends.
Oh, excellent. Amazing. And I can vouch for it, really. And frankly, that's how our relationship started. So I can pretty much see that flowing through. So that's really great. Coming to our last segment is really, again, one breath. And this time I hold you to that one breath. No cheating around that. You have to go on to saying Sattviko in 8 months and Sattviko in 8 years.
Sattviko in 8 months, 2 crores a month of top line, 50% of our business from US. Sattviko in 8 years, we want to become the largest global brand that stands for Indianness, like McDonald's stood for American Dream. We want to stand for the great Indian dream.
Awesome. And knowing you, I'm sure you will get there. Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much. And for people watching, wanting to know more about Sattviko, I'm sure you would want to do that. You will have the corporate video on the link, as well as more information on Sattviko on the link. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll meet again soon. Thanks, Prasoon.
Thank
A
you so much.
pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure. Take
Thanks.
care. Bye-bye.